Joining us now, White House Senior Communications Advisor Mercedes Schlapp. All right, Mercedes, you've seen the proceedings, you've seen what's going on, and I've got one criticism, not from me, but from one of our guests on the show. The criticism is that President Trump has been nice to our rivals and nasty to our allies. He has indeed taken a strong line with the Europeans, a strong line with NATO. What do you make of this?
Well, you know, I respectfully disagree with the guest. I feel when you look at the fact that President Trump, look, he's going to be an honest broker here. He has seen for decades after decades that those countries who are part of NATO have not paid their fair share. And so he has basically come and said, look, the U.S. right now is paying about 4.2% in terms of our GDP for defense and helping to strengthen NATO. We see only 8 countries out of about the 28 countries that actually meet that criteria, that are meeting their commitment and paying for NATO. And so he's basically saying to these other nations, it's time for you all to pay as well. I mean, Germany gets to about 1% or so in terms of GDP payment of what they do for their defense. And so this does not, this is something that I think the president is just making sure, he's just making sure that he's sending his message very clearly when he goes to NATO. And I think that it shows very strong leadership on the part of the president in delivering a very clear message that he has been saying not only this year, but last year when he went.
Yeah, he's sticking to his hard line vis-a-vis Europe and NATO. And by the way, he's sticking to his hard line with China trade. We had the announcement this morning, Mercedes, that we may impose 10% tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese products coming to America, but that might not be imposed until September. The hard line continues in almost every respect, doesn't it?
Well, again, we have to think about our history. It's decades and decades of a trade system that's been broken. Decades and decades of China taking advantage of us, having abusive trade practices when it comes to the issue of intellectual property and our technology. The fact that we have seen under our investigation, the one that Ambassador Lighthizer initiated with Section 301, basically saying that what we have found is the fact that they have been stealing and transferring intellectual property, which, of course, as we know, is such a cornerstone of our economy and what we need to ensure that we have continue to have a very strong economy. So this is about a fair playing field, a level playing field in terms of trade. And what President Trump is ensuring is that, again, we move towards fair trade, freer markets, and prosperity. And China needs to come on board and do that with us. You know, we haven't seen that happen so far.
I just don't think that the Europeans or any other foreign leaders are used to this president and his style. I mean, that dialogue between President Trump and Stoltenberg, who's the NATO Secretary General, that was just classic. I mean, Trump went right on the attack, and the NATO guy, he was just not expecting this. He was kind of blustering there. I don't think they're used to him. I don't think they'll ever get used to him.
Well, I mean, you come from Europe, Stuart Vardy. You could speak on behalf of the Europeans as well. But I think when you look at the NATO Secretary General, one of the things he mentioned is that these countries do need to invest more. So he did agree with the president on this, that the fact that these other nations have a responsibility. If we're going to continue to fight against a transnational terrorist organization, the jihadist terrorists, if we're going to make sure that we keep Russia and China in its place and ensure that we stay focused on controlling these rogue states of Iran and North Korea, we need our NATO allies to invest in NATO, because that's how we come together. That's how we ensure that there is that separation between those who favor repressive societies and those that support freer societies. And we stand with the freer societies, and we expect our allies to do the same. But that means they have to put their part, they have to invest.
Mercedes, I've got to wrap it up, but I would not be surprised if President Trump didn't come away from Britain with some kind of trade deal. Yeah. We'll see. Right. We'll see. Mercedes Schlapp, thank you very much for joining us on a busy day. Thank you.